Well, hello there. Anyone that actually decided to click on how to shoot an ArmA. I know that there's been millions and millions of videos on this subject. Millions. Maybe even billions. On how to shoot in ArmA. Mainly ArmA 3, but there's been like a million in ArmA 2, and ArmA 2 sort of does translate into ArmA 3. Mainly in the ballistics. Everything else not really. So, let's jump into this. Hopefully I don't kill my voice talking. So, we're going to try and do things as relatively realistic as possible. So we're going to begin by spotting with just a rifle. I'm going to use my favorite rifle for infantry stuff, which is the Mark 18. At least from the vanilla game. And I'm just going to use a, an ACO sight. No bipod, yeah, that, and, I'm going to use ENVGs, so that way I can, show you what I'm talking about, like, without having to shoot. No suppressor, for now at least. So we're going to begin with shooting. This could be a very long, this could become a series, or this could be like one episode long. So, I have like 3,000 plus hours here, let's see. 3,229 hours in ArmA 3. That's something that a lot of people didn't have back 2 years ago. So that's when two minus years ago, two plus years ago, whatever, is about the time when that started. So we're just gonna place down a rifleman, an enemy rifleman, right there, and we're just gonna like put him. So step one is gonna be like legitimately identifying a target, and I wish that it could randomize this. I'm too lazy to make a script for it. I'm too lazy to look up how to make a script for it as well. So we're just gonna go with where did the special status, and then nope, object presence. Shoot, I've lost it. Oh, alright. Now we're just gonna make sure that, feel free to enter into the editor. We're gonna like do this as just like a standard rifleman. Actually, you know what? No, I'm just gonna do it with my favorite thing, like just for now, because it's like gonna be easier if we do it with my thing, my favorite weapon system. And we're just gonna move up. Oh, he's not there. This is good. So it already. So since it were during the day, we don't need to use night vision. Night vision being this, can't see. And we're not going to use thermal, which is this, because I'm trying to show you how to do it legitimately. So to begin with, he could be behind the hill. There's a big hill there. Or not. So, if you don't have a mouse that is like mine, where you have the two side buttons, this is like this on its own automatically. This is zooming. This is like normal in real life zoom. This is like zoomed out, like a more realistic field of view. This is like super realistic field of view, but like not super realistic zoom, because we're using computer screens, obviously. Unless you didn't know that, like, ooh, this is real life. So, to begin with, you have a rifle and you have a pistol. Generally, people don't like to use pistols because pistols don't have that much range, but I've managed to hit targets out to 200 meters with pistols in this game. And the first time I did it, it was like a headshot or something, or maybe it was like just a torso shot on like a previously damaged character enemy. They're just a character, not an enemy. So to begin with, we're just gonna we're just not gonna care about silhouetting and skylining and that kind of stuff. We're just gonna like attempt to find this enemy. It almost is better to start with that. Actually, I should have started with that. Oh well, everyone else covered that already. I could be like doing this really wrong. I highly doubt it though, because alright, good. I just had to make sure that yeah, that's 400 meters, alright. I don't see him on this side of the hill. There's no enemy moving. Alright, so we know that the enemy is over there somewhere. Somehow we just know that. But maybe we're like out on patrol. We'll have to do a patrol. If you can see him already with the quality of video that I'm doing, which is like I don't even remember megahertz, like 30 megahertz. If you can see him already, good job. You're smarter than me. This is on Stratus, so like there's a good chance he'll be in like the yellow or the green, which will make him stand out more. And this will actually, oh, there he is. Here we'll get into a better position to see that thing right next to my site. If you're not watching in like 1080p or 720p or something close, or at least 480p, you're not going to see him. It looks like a tree's trunk. I don't have binoculars, but I have thermal sights. I should have definitely brought binoculars. Alright, we've identified that there is a human being over there. We cannot tell that it is whether it is a enemy or friendly. We just know it's a human being, even though we do know, because I was the one who placed him down. There's no other there's no other units that look like this around. So we've identified that that is probably a human, and just to confirm that it is a human, because like I don't feel like having to prove that that's not a tree trunk over there, like over there. That's not a tree trunk. So that's definitely a human. Chances are that that's a human, which we just confirmed. So we're gonna we don't have binoculars to identify if that's human, and we don't have a scope either, or a scope. So we have to move up, or maybe even just not engage at all. But since we are on a search and destroy mission, we're gonna move in. I'm gonna speed this up. Shouldn't be moving across open ground like this, but it's okay for this, because I should actually be demonstrating this like this, because like we don't know if this is friendly or not, and we're gonna assume that but we're gonna assume that you understand at least the basics of moving, which I'm gonna be doing a playlist on, or possibly just a video. Probably I will have uploaded that first, because like at least the first video of it, because it's going to be so much quicker. So, I do not see an enemy yet. It's actually... There's a bunny rabbit right there. You shouldn't be stopping just to look at the bunny. Alright. I should blend in okay right here. From that way. But from that way, I should not. So let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Moving. I should have turned that off, but oh well. Alright. So, we're just going to assume that everything is relatively safer. We have like a security, several large security elements around this area, and I'm just on a search and destroy mission to identify any enemies in the AO. And I don't see him. Though he should be down this hill. So we're gonna go into combat pace. I don't remember the key binding. Damn, that's what the not to do. Yep, that guy was enemy. So, well, what do we mean that? We should always bring binoculars, or at least attempt to. So, let's put binoculars on. If we don't have a scope. If we have a scope, that's better than, like, you know, this or iron sights. Or, then it's like binoculars are not as required, because then we can identify enemies from further away. Alright, so we're just gonna find this guy now. Oh, yay. He is in a convenient spot, so... And right there, he actually does look decently well blended in because of the way that the terrain engine... No, not that... But the way that the ambient oscillation, I believe it is. I don't remember. But this does not look like this from a decent distance. I'd have to open... Oh, yes, the map. See, it sort of looks like it, but not really. On Stratus, it actually looks more like it than in Altus or Tanoa. So, in order to identify enemies, we need to look at their uniforms. This is my character. You need to look at the uniforms, not the vest. Here, I'll take off my vest, that way I can show you what my uniform is. So, my uniform is slightly yellow in a distance, and it will blend in with this type of stuff best. You can, like in the beginning of missions, generally identify enemy characters, like if they're players at least. This is not going to apply all the time, but if they are not players, if they're just AI, chances are they're going to be wearing their standard uniform, which I should have probably showed you to begin with, but with the vest and the uniform and the helmet and possibly night vision and whatever you're wearing on your face, those all will be able to identify you, at least in the beginning of the mission. So later on in the mission, you might want to grab like a better vest. Someone might shoot you because of that, because you look like an enemy. You can't change uniforms, at least in the vanilla game, with enemy forces, unless you're spawn as a friendly who just so happens to spawn with an enemy uniform, or you are using the arsenal which has enemy uniforms in it. So we're going to assume that this is a thing which we already know is not the case. So in order to identify this guy as an enemy or a friendly, he is not wearing a slightly yellow uniform. He's wearing a brown uniform. And right there, in the center of this, I'm not sure how this is going to come across, but there's this tiny little bit of red, which conveniently the binoculars are powerful enough to pick up, and my PC is good enough to show. So, and the rifle, the rifle also can identify friendlies and enemies, but do not ever go off of the rifle. Oh yeah, if you're using night vision, we'll go over that in the thermal episode. But like, if you alright, everything is relatively self-explanatory, but we want it to be even more so. I've still not figured out how to. I may have figured out how to use the rangefinder on binoculars okay enough. I'm not entirely sure how to use it though, so we're just gonna ignore it. So it would appear that he is enemy because of the uniform being brown, and mine just so happens to be yellow, which we generally shoot at each other if that is the case, but that's not always the case. We just so happen to know that that uniform is a CSAT uniform. That helmet is a CSAT helmet. That gun is a CSAT gun. At least the Mediterranean stuff. Did his animation stop? Nope. Okay. And it would appear that he has a vest. That is also a CSAT vest. So we can assume that he is enemy, because the chances of it being a civilian are 0. Almost nearly completely 0. I'm not a good shot with this because I don't practice with it. I've practiced with scopes on stuff like the SPMG and the M320 and like MAR-10 and the MX SW and this. I have not practiced with infantry sights very much. So it would appear that we have eliminated him. We do not feel like I do not feel like approaching him at this point in time. There's his rifle. There's his body. You probably can't see that if you're watching on anything less than 480p or whatever. So, chances are he is dead. Of course, the way that the terrain loads, this is on Ultra. The terrain is on Ultra. And that means that the terrain isn't going to be blending as much, which is part of the reason why we can see him probably. I'm going to just show you real quick what it would look like if here, let's do something like this. On low, the gun is barely visible and his body is completely gone. On Ultra, his gun is completely visible, and his body is at least visible enough. So let's go approach the body to confirm a kill. If you're using low stuff, then it will tell you in the map. But if you're not using like I believe Ace doesn't show it up in the map, which we're gonna be assuming that like for some reason this is turned off either via script or mod. Because you're playing realistic, and there's no player has killed other player using or the standard one, which is the standard script, which is player X has killed player Y, and we're gonna approach the rifleman. This is a rifleman. I'm not using a Blue 4 rifle. I'm using a rifle that used to be a Blue 4 weapon in the lore of the game, but that's a story for another time. And there he is. See, cannot put on his clothes. So, just to show you what I mean by a different vest. This is what the normal vest looks like if you weren't paying attention. And this is what the enemy vest looks like, at least for me. And then the helmet looks like this. My helmet looks like this. I can't get it back to back right now. And then night vision. Night vision is also one of the things I said. His night vision, mine would be yellow. I'm wearing green. Close enough. Now to find the rifle. Here's the rifle. His rifle. My rifle. Alright, that's been target identification and finding.